I recently got this 1975 Chrysler Cordoba running and driving after sitting for many years. It's rough, rusty, and it's really down on its luck, but it has a fantastic running gear under the hood. Unfortunately, it's got some major rust to the firewall and some other places. It really just puts it past the point of worth fixing. So I saw the perfect opportunity to teach my helper here, Briar, how to pull an engine. He's in high school and he wants to learn more about working on cars, so here you go. He's in for a treat. I told Briar to go get that car to run, and I just heard it fire up. He's pretty slick. Told him he had to put a coil on it, rig up the fuel system, and letting her warm up. He's probably trying to put it in gear right now. That thing doesn't like to stay running. He's gonna learn real quick. Oh, he made the mistake of letting it idle too long. He had it running, he was walking up here, and I told him to pull it in. As soon as he gets back, it shuts off. There we go. That car is like the worst to keep running. There you go. He figured it out. I'm telling y'all, he's got it figured out. He understands. Oh, I see movement. I see movement. He got it. Oh, don't let it die. Come on, Briar, you can do it. I believe in you, buddy. Dixie went out there to help him. Look at there. He figured it out. That's the easy part. Now we gotta pull it. We're causing a ruckus, Briar. There you go. What do you think?
Hard to start.
Hard to start, hard to drive, hard to kill.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna be pulling an engine out today.
No fun.
Oh, that's plenty of fun. All right, folks, we've got Briar here. He's been helping me for a couple weeks, and he said he wants to learn about working on cars. What kind of things have you done? I guess you've taken shop classes, right? Mm-hmm. So what have you done?
In that class, really, we didn't do much engine work, just the little stuff, you know, little valves and things like that, working on fuel lines, and that's about it, nothing serious.
And you did a bunch of, what'd you say, oil changes and
yes,
tire rotations?
A lot of tires
changes.
and oil changes.
He can run a tire machine, so I mean, that's a pretty big step in the right direction. So I don't remember whenever I pulled my first engine. It's a good thing to start when you can. So this car right here is, it's honestly a pile, but it has a great running gear. 362 barrel, 3-speed automatic, a good rear axle. So we're gonna try to salvage every bit of this that we can because we could use it in a future project. And that's what's important. And the good thing is that, Briar, you cannot hurt this car. I promise you, you will not break anything. And if you do, I mean, what's it matter? It doesn't matter at all. So we're gonna kind of walk Briar through it, and I'm kind of just gonna leave him alone and let him kind of figure it out. I made him a list over here we're gonna look at here in a second, and just let him kind of sort it out and just see what he can do, because there's gonna be trials, there's gonna be errors, there's gonna be a lot of things that you'll learn and things that you'll think, well, maybe I should do it differently next time. But that's what's important, because the first time you pull your engine, it's probably not gonna be your last. And you're gonna learn how to do something better every time you work on it. All right, Briar, here's our list of things to do. So for our engine pulling, we've gotta disconnect the wiring. You know, we gotta make sure we don't cut anything. Pull the radiator, distributor cap, motor mounts, drive shafts, speedometer cable, shifter, transmission cross member, and then the rear axle and the wheels and spindles, those are optional, so don't worry about those just yet. But the main thing is, you know, we wanna save everything that we pull, because a lot of times you go to a junkyard, they just kind of rip stuff out. So when you take a bolt out, you're gonna put it right back in the place you put it if you can. That way we can find all the hardware if we ever wanna put it back in another car. So as you go through, just mark it out with the marker. Say, I did this, I did this, I did this, and I promise you, you're gonna miss a wire. I promise you, you're gonna miss a bolt. You're gonna miss some little thing that as we're pulling it, it's gonna get in the way. But I think you got it. I wanna make sure we've got 3 gears. I was able to drive the car down the driveway, and I was able to find that we did have 2 gears, but I couldn't get up fast enough to try for 3. So we're just gonna jack it up really fast and see if we do have 3. Because if we got 3, that's a good transmission. And I'm just worried because it shifted good in the first and second, but when you get to the point of like, you know, doing second to third, especially with this thing being pulled a trailer, things get ugly really quick. And look at that receiver hitch. That thing is, I'm taking that. I don't care what anybody says. That's going on a car I got. All right, Briar's gonna pull it down into low. Well, the other side might be spinning. Yeah. Go ahead, yeah, speed it up. Hey, pick your foot up off the brake pedal. There you go. Now give it a little gas and hold it at a steady RPM. Come on. Hold that RPM up higher, because act like you're driving. Because what we're gonna do is you're gonna get it up to an RPM, shift to second, up to an RPM, and then shift to third. Up a little higher. Come on, go up. Second. Third. Hold on, hit the brake. The brake, yeah, there you go. Now park. All right, we got 3 gears. Awesome, that's exactly what we needed to see. Start with wiring. Anything you can do top side, pulling the radiator, transmission cooler lines, it's gonna leak, so you got a little pan over here. Drain coolant, we gotta get this radiator out of the way so it's kinda easier to pull. You don't necessarily have to, but I guess step 1, like you said earlier, get the hood out of the way. So let's get this hood pulled, and then you can go to town. Now that rod, see if you can slide out. It's all right. See if that rod will slide out. Okay, now go up. Well, let's go up on the roof. There's a lot of wiring, but it's not as bad as you think. So don't forget your throttle cable. The kickdown linkage can stay, but this cable needs to come loose. Heater hoses. Try not to break anything if you can, especially wiring-wise. These vacuum hoses don't really matter. The harness goes out and then down this side of the valve cover. So you see the wires right there. When you get the harness off, just tuck it up under a wiper arm. Briar, got a status update for me?
It's hot under here.
It's hot under here. No airflow whatsoever. It looks like Briar's got pretty much everything on the top side done besides just a few small things. He's working on getting the radiator out, and then he's gonna get to figure out the fun and joy of crawling under a car to get the transmission out and getting everything to where you can pull it. I'm so sorry, Briar, but you're doing a great job. Is this everything you ever dreamed it would be?
It's a little better.
Better? I don't know about that. That's some optimism if I've ever heard it. Oh, there you go. Tilt it, yeah, lay it flat so that way nothing leaks out of it. You ever pulled a radiator out before?
Never have.
Well, look at there. You can do it with your eyes closed now, can't you?
I wish.
He was having trouble with these dang fittings. They're always a booger to get out, but now that he's got that out of the way, you can get your shroud, put that over there with it. I think you've got everything topside done, if I had to guess.
I hope.
Yeah, right, I know you hope. Except for the AC line. This the AC compressor didn't have any charge on it, so when we cracked the line, it didn't have anything come out. So you have to take that one loose, get your heater hoses. It's a lot of little stuff, especially when you get in the late 70s. You get a ton of like weird oddball emission stuff. So he had to go through and figure out which vacuum lines were attached to the engine and which ones weren't, and then get all the wiring harness out of the way. So, and a little trick for the small block Chryslers is if you don't want to pull the distributor, just pull the cap so you don't bust it, because whenever the engine comes out. A lot of times if you're pulling it with the transmission, it'll tilt back and you can actually hit the firewall with it. So if you get those few things left, we'll jack the car up and put it on 4 jack stands. We'll be ready.
Thank goodness.
Got the car up on jack stands. Briar's getting ready to go underneath the car where he's going to live for the next probably rest of the day. So it's been nice knowing you. I'm sorry. We're going to get up as high as we can because we've got a lot of transmission stuff to undo, dry shaft, exhaust. And then we're going to be pulling it, I hope. He got a lot done up top. As you can see, pretty much everything is undone. Actually see the engine in there for once instead of just vacuum hoses and wiring. So that's good. That's really good. All right, that looks good to me. We'll just see how we can do with jack stands. We're gonna go up under the rear end. Oh wow, that jack is way up there. That's all she wrote. Looks good. Before I get in under a vehicle, I always do a bump test just to make sure. Like I'll just lean against the bumper and kind of, because if something happens and it falls, at least somebody's got to really push it to make it happen. So that's just it. Moving a little side to side. But I think it's all right. I think you're good. Seems safe to me. Right?
Party started.
Party started. Here he goes. The last time we'll see him for probably the rest of the day. So the first thing we're going to do is pull the drive shaft out. If you go to the rear axle, you can see there's some caps there. Do you see those little bolts? Yeah, so you'll want to remove those first, and I can rotate it around for if you ever need it to, like as far as putting in a different gear. As soon as you slide it out of there, it's going to probably leak some transmission fluid, so let me know whenever you're ready to pull it, and I'll get a stopper for it. And you should be able to pull it right back towards you.
I think it's 3.
Is it leaking any?
No.
Okay. It will when we pull it, but right now it's probably all right. But go ahead and stick it up in there. Well, folks, Briar's still under the car.
Got my last bolt of the cross member coming out right now.
Okay. Then after that, we've got, I think, exhaust, right? And you've already gotten all the shifter mechanism, everything else out, speedometer cable. Mm-hmm. You should be good on that front. Would you like safety glasses or a nap?
A nap.
You're good. You got it.
Holy smokes, I can't see.
You look like you've been doing something.
I feel like it too. My back does.
So you had to pull cross member bolts, you had to pull all the wiring, everything out. You think you're ready to pull this thing. Okay. We got one final thing with the power steering hose. Briar's about to knock it loose, I hope. Probably not. Those things are annoying. He's using special vice grips. They're called parrot nose, and they're meant for lines like that, especially ones that don't want to come loose. We think Briar's got everything, so he's going to go over to his list on the whiteboard and mark them off. Feels good about that one. I watched him do that. Yeah. And then we'll worry about, those are the optional ones. I mean, that's pretty much it. How does it feel?
I'm tired.
you got some grease all over your face.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't like that shirt, because
Nah, I didn't like it too much.
okay. Well, he's got nothing much left to do. We're gonna pull the engine first thing tomorrow and get a chain hooked up to it, get our transmission crossmember dropped, and it should be ready to come out. Doesn't like a whole lot left, but you did a good job. I mean, I know that's a lot of work, ain't it? But that's part of learning.
Yep.
I mean, you gotta kind of be able to fiddle with stuff like this to figure out what it does. Here's a real question: do you think you could put it back together if you had to?
Oh, absolutely not.
All right, Briar, day 2. We feeling optimistic?
I'm ready to get it out.
Time is now.
Thank goodness.
All right, we're gonna try and go, kind of towards the back so we can, we might have to go more forward to angle it because it's gonna have to go down and up. So for right now, just go center and we'll see how that looks. All right, let me get some weight on it and then you can let the transmission down. Oh, it's moving. Oh yeah, that's much better. Yeah, we're loose of the mount. So go ahead and let it down in the back. Probably gonna have to chain it a little further forward actually. The problem with doing it this way with the chain is that it'll get in a bind. So go back a little bit. It'll like tilt to one side before it picks up evenly. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Let's try and push it backwards a little bit. This is that. Okay, hold on a second. Now we're good. Woo! Look, that's it. We're free. Now we got enough angle, I think. So while you're pulling it, your main thing is checking that bell housing. Make sure it's not rubbing the firewall. We still got some room. We got a clear right here on the core support. You just tell me when we're kind of close to that back.
Now you're rubbing. Well, you're pretty dang close to it.
Let's roll the car back. Okay, now we got a little more room back there. Just keep an eye on that back side and tell me if it's good.
Now it's rubbing.
Now it's rubbing. Let's go back. Let's keep pushing it backwards. There we go. Okay, now we're hitting up front, so we're going to start going up again. And we'll go back. And up. See if you can kind of time it there. Get it centered as you can. I know it's hard to do, but just don't get your fingers mashed. We're almost clear of the oil pan. Okay, we're getting up under it. Now it's just a matter of see if you can kind of dip the back end down. Kind of slide its way out now. Hold up, hold up. Go higher. See, now we're clear. Kind of keep it straight. I do not care if I bend this fan. So you just stay clear of it, don't get under it. All right, come on back. Right up to there. We'll go up some more. We're getting close where we can just kind of swing it over. Heck, I've had to let air out of the tires before just to get it to where it would go. Okay, come on back. Back. You're good. It's just a fan. All right, now push it out. There it is. Just push it back far enough to where we can let it down. Okay, that's good. All right, Briar, first impressions.
It wasn't as bad as I thought.
Really now, what was the hardest part, you think?
Probably the wiring.
The wiring?
Just so much of it.
Right. Yeah, because this era car, I mean, like, if you'd gone maybe 5 or 6 years earlier, there wouldn't be half the wiring on it. But there's so much emissions and weird stuff that's got to be done with that it just makes it difficult to get everything off there. If you had to do it again, do you think you could handle it one more time?
I think I could do it.
Think you could do it again?
Yeah.
Think you could do it half the time?
Half the time? Yep.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that's confidence. I like it. Yeah, and the only reason we had issues, so we started pulling the transmission mounts out, and the cross member for the torsion bars, that's usually behind the transmission. But for some reason on this car, it's actually under it. And you can unbolt it, but to get it out, you have to completely remove the torsion bars. And that's not a lot of fun. So we just kept wiggling it, going up and in and up and in, until it finally gave way and we were able to get the whole thing out. And once it got loose of that cross member, it went pretty quick, didn't it? Mm-hmm. Didn't take us but, what, 2 or 3 minutes to get it out fully. Yep. We got a lot of great parts here, and Briar did it all by himself for the most part. The only time I helped was you couldn't figure out how to do a bolt, or you didn't know which way to go in a situation, but that was like, what, 2 or 3 times maybe?
Yeah.
Out of the whole thing. You pretty much did all of it by yourself. I just kind of guided you and you executed. So there you go. Nice work. Briar was feeling so ambitious and so good about his engine pull that he went ahead and decided, I'm going to tackle the optional list. We've got a good 8 1/4 that's open with highway gears, but it's got the giant 11-inch brakes. So that's going to be a good rear end for us with a sway bar. So Briar's going to tackle that, and we'll help him when he gets ready. All right, Briar's on day 2 of the axle pull. He had to leave early, so now he's tackling some U-bolts. They're junk. U-bolts are rough, but if you can just cut them loose, ain't no big deal. So he's gonna tackle that, and I think you're very close. You need what, parking brake cables and a brake hose, and he's done. So it won't take much for him to get it to where he can pull this axle. We're both gonna pick up, and I want you're gonna go up and over towards me to where you get past the spring, and then once we get to that point, I'm gonna do the exact same, and then you pull from the bottom. Just try and keep it kind of level so it don't roll off. you tilt your end up high. And I'm going to rotate it around. Ooh. It's going to be a little wobbly. You got to go up a little higher. There you go. I'm getting a phone call. I'll just have to wait. Okay. Coming on over. It's all right. Just tell me when you're clear. All right, tilt your, let me get it on the leaf spring on my side so it'll hold it still. All right. Now let your side fall if you can. Or just still. Just watch yourself. Do not let it fall on you. It's heavy. Side down. Get it up under that spring. Okay. Now I'm going to lift up just a little bit. And then we'll slide it out. Whoop. Watch yourself. It's all good. Let me readjust this jack. Okay. Going your way. Hold on, let me get up over. Okay, almost there. Now I'm going to let it down. Just hold her steady. Go up that way some. It's all right. It's all right. There you go. It was going good until it didn't. Briar had taken out the spindles, or started to, and then the nut for the upper control arm came out. So we'll have to thread those on a little bit better. We'll pick it up and look what happened. I mean, that's some stance right there if I've ever seen it. So we'll just we'll pick the car up and put that back on there, and then we'll be able to take it out. There you go. Come on, man. Are you riding your teeth a little bit?
Come on, man. Get a bit better than that.
Yeah, no.
Get my head on the roof.
Did you really?
No.
We got a problem here. We don't have anything. It's all good. I think it just slipped off the bucket. All right, let's try it again.
Don't kill me, please.
Go ahead and start. Go ahead and start cutting it that way, and then we'll just shove you down the hill. Come on, man. You alive?
My butt hurts.
Rattle your neck a little bit?
A little bit.
A little bit. We did good. We got it right where we wanted it. So now, oh shoot, we should have.
Scooted it back.
Yeah, I'll scoot it back so you can get your spindles back out. But it's down here, exactly where we want it. And we're gonna put it on some blocks just to keep it off the ground. But you know, eventually, probably gonna sell this car, scrap it one. I wish it were worth saving, but unfortunately, it's too far gone. But we've got all the good stuff out of it, thank goodness. And Briar did pretty much all of it by himself. So you've got one more thing to do. He's got to get the spindles off, and then he can celebrate. The last things on the list is the spindle. We tried to get it by the ball joint on the lower side, but we couldn't get it to come loose. So in order to get the ball joint to unbolt, you got to pull the rotor off, and there's 2 bolts that hold it on to the spindle itself. So I just told Briar, just leave the lower ball joint on, and then we'll be able to just take everything out of here as we want. I'll go there. 1 spindle. Nice. And now we got better room for that lower ball joint, but it ain't no big deal to leave it for right now. Heck, I'll just probably buy new ones. They're cheap enough. So, but that's good for something that we could put like on a. I read that it could go on an A or a B body, so we've got those to. The control arms obviously won't work. I don't think, but well, they might. I don't know. We'll have to see. But we've at least got them, and that's what's important. And there's 2 spindles on the ground. And Briar rises up from the ashes.
My butt still hurts.
All right, Briar, let's check out your haul. What we ended up with was a nice engine and transmission. We got a 362 barrel, the 727, and they both run and operate very well. I mean, that's the point of testing the car and making it run and drive first, so you can tell if we've got a good engine or not. And by golly, it didn't smoke. We beat the fool out of it for a little while, and it's just a great all-around engine. We've got that, we've got drive shaft, we've got mounts, we've got all sorts of good stuff, hardware. Back here, we've got a rear axle. This is an 8 1/4. It's open, but it's got the large drum brakes, and it's just good for any big body Mopar, as well as all the hardware, sway bars, all that good stuff. And this is a good find, a receiver hitch. And this bolts into the frame rails. It doesn't bolt into the trunk or the bumper. This one is legit. So we kept it because we definitely could use that. We've got 5 wheels. These are just 2 of them, but we've got 5 total. And then there's the sway bar itself. And then over here, we've got upper control arms, spindles, rotors. The calipers are with it, but they're over there on the other side of the shop. But we've got everything out of this car that was good. So Briar, do you think you learned anything?
I learned a lot. Yeah.
What did you learn?
This takes forever.
So is there something, what was the worst part about it?
When you drop me.
Well, I could see that. I could definitely see that. I mean, do you think that was like a good learning experience? Did you come out figuring something out you might have not known?
Yeah, it was. I definitely see how it works more than I did before.
And that's what it's all about, folks, because when you're 17 and you want to work on a car, what better way than to just let them go at it and just tear it apart? Because when I was 17, I was good at tearing stuff apart, but putting it back together, that was another thing altogether. Maybe that's the next thing we learn, is how to apply all this stuff that he's already ripped out. But he figured it out. He did pretty much all of it by himself. I did the bare minimum. I kind of let him just do his own thing and figure it out. And he did a great job. So that's what's important. No matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, just get out there, turn a wrench, break a few bolts, figure it out on your own, and eventually you'll learn how to do it. So Briar, thanks. You did a good job. Appreciate the help. Thank you guys for watching. Link down in the description below for t-shirts and stickers, as well as go ahead and subscribe. Like the channel, like the videos. Turn on those notifications because you don't want to miss out on more stuff like this, because Briar, he's going to be helping me out a whole lot. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.